This tutorial will review the interface of Expert Rifleman and show how to navigate within the program. Let us begin at our main menu. You will notice that we have 3 maps to choose from. The sandbox map is flat and allows you to place moving targets at any orientation, speed, and range without any obstruction. The targets spawned on this map will always move at the speed defined by the user. The next map is the dynamic target map. This map has 3 different types of targets: fixed single target, double target with a hostage, and a mobile target. The final map is the high angle map. This map lets you shoot at targets which are at a high angle relative to the shooter. Shooting at an angle will affect the ballistics of the projectile. On a map with hills or gullies, the target speed will increase or decrease based on the terrain it is crossing. You can spawn a mobile target on any of the maps by pressing Enter. Let us start with the sandbox map. After clicking on any of the maps, you will come to a menu where you can choose your ammunition type. Expert Rifleman has 3 ammunition types which are pre-created: .338 Lapua, 7.62 NATO, and 50 BMG. Expert Rifleman also lets you create up to 500 additional ammunition types. We will review how to create additional ammunition types in a separate video. For now, we will select a .338 Lapua. This takes us to the environmental conditions menu, where we can change various settings including temperature, wind speed, and direction, and conditions under which the rifle was zeroed. If Use Dynamic Wind is checked, the speed and direction of the wind will change randomly. When you select Dynamic Wind, you will be required to specify how often wind speed and direction will change in seconds. For our current tutorial, we will keep the default values and click on Set Environmental Data button. We are now at the menu where we will select our scope. Expert Rifleman simulates several categories of scopes, including front focal plane, second focal plane, dual focal plane scopes, and digital scopes. Second focal plane scopes are only calibrated at one specific magnification, but can be zoomed much more smoothly. Second focal plane scopes will allow you to zoom all the way to 1.7 power. It is also possible to create custom scopes. We will cover the creating of custom scopes in a separate video. Notice on the right is the Static Ballistic Chart button. This allows a drop-down menu where wind speed, direction, and bore angle can be set for the ballistic chart, which will be used in the simulation. We will not be using a static chart in the simulation, so I will click off the Static Ballistic Chart button. If the Static Ballistic Chart button is on, then the ballistic chart, which is displayed during the simulation, will not update changes in wind. On the right, there are a number of boxes which can affect the reticle. The first box allows you to turn on a breathing cycle and scope wobble, which will add both a realistic breathing pattern and a little random scope wobble. Moving the mouse can counteract the breathing cycle if you correctly anticipate it. By default, the scope adjustments in Expert Rifleman will continue to adjust as long as the arrow key is held down. Click Adjustable Turrets changes that and requires the key to be pressed and released every time that the windage or elevation is adjusted. Next, notice the bullet graphic buttons directly below. Expert Rifleman has 3 different ways to display the bullet trace. The trace could be hidden, shown as an extenuated black dot, or, if stylized is selected, shown as a vapor trail. For this tutorial, we will select a second focal plane scope and load our simulation. We have reached the layout of Expert Rifleman's graphic screen as the ballistic simulation proceeds. On the upper right-hand corner is a ballistic table with the range in yards, drop in mils, and the drift in mils. The table also shows the target's height in mils. These values correspond to the target, which has a height of 40 inches. Shown below the ballistic table is the name for the ammunition type which is being displayed. In the center right of the screen are the laser range finder and bore angle. To use the laser range finder, center the crosshairs on the object you wish to range and press R on your keyboard. The range will be displayed next to the laser range finder icon. The change in bore angle is also displayed as the scope moves. In the lower right-hand corner is a representation of the target which gives its exact dimension in inches. The height of the entire target is 40 inches tall and 19.5 inches wide and 9 inches deep. Each of the colored dots corresponds to the value in points which a target of a specific color is worth if hit. The target which I am now aiming at has blue and yellow-green areas. The yellow-green areas are worth 1 point and the blue areas are worth 2 points. The sandbox in the lower right-hand corner contains a diagram of the scope's reticle. Each scope will show distances in mils or MOA. In the lower left-hand corner is a representation of a scope which shows how much windage and elevation the scope has been adjusted for. The current scope zoom is shown below. The windage and elevation can be adjusted by clicking the up and down arrow keys to adjust elevation, and the right and left arrow keys to change windage. Holding shift down will increase the rate at which the windage and elevation adjustment change by a factor of 10. This scope is a second focal plane scope which will only function for ranges at a specific single magnification. As I zoom out with this scope, you will notice that Expert Rifleman displays a text box stating the reticle is non-functional at this resolution. The wind speed and direction as set in the Environmental Conditions menu is shown in the upper left. In this case, the wind is moving from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock at 30 miles per hour. Expert Rifleman lets the user create or spawn a target at the center of the crosshairs when entered is pressed. Remember, the speed, direction, and range of the spawned targets can be changed. Hitting escape will bring you to the end of the screen where your number of hits and score are shown. This has been a video tutorial from BattleBite Games reviewing the interface for Expert Rifleman and showing how to navigate within the program. We will discuss the many factors that have to be taken into consideration to accurately shoot at long range in our video on ranging. Thanks for watching.